Hey guys, how you doing? This is Joe from Iron Health. I'm here with Becca. She's owner of Barre 3, a new studio coming into Dobbs Ferry. We're gonna be taking her through an assessment. So before we do that, I just want her to introduce herself and tell us a little bit about Barre 3.
Sure. I'm Becca Light. I'm opening a Barre 3 studio in the center of the village of Dobbs Ferry at 42 Chestnut Street. Hoping to be open before June starts. And our studio, Barre 3, is a full body form of exercise. It is balances strength conditioning, cardio, and mindfulness in a 60-minute workout set to great music.
Sounds awesome.
I'll make you guys go through it in just a little bit.
All right, so we were talking to Becca a little bit about her pain. She has a little right shoulder history. So this video is just going to be kind of me running through an assessment, kind of organic and stuff like that. So just stand face me. Posture. You right-handed?
I'm left-handed.
Are you?
Mm-hmm.
That's actually really odd because usually you're left.
My right,
Me too.
but I don't. Yeah.
I write with my left.
I write with my left, and that's basically all I do.
Okay, and eat.
Yeah.
All right, let's hold your feet together. Bring your chin down, my finger here. There's stiffness there? Can you go over there? A little stiff. Correct, come up. Let's look up as high as we can. Good, come back. Rotate your head to the right.
What are you looking for, Joe?
Good, let's go left. So we're just looking on, right now, I'm just doing a full range of motion screen from her neck down to see exactly what's restricted, see what we're gonna work on. Come back to center. So actually, just turn around, face the other wall. Feet together. So this arm, can you bring behind your back, so hand right here?
Like my hand?
Yep, good. And that's the other one. Relax. Bring this up above your head, take your hand right here. So behind your head, exactly, good. Any pain?
A little bit.
Where?
Right, like,
In the top of the shoulder.
yeah.
So like an assessment like this, I look at range of motion. Her range of motion's pretty good, but she's feeling some pain, so it's something that we'll have to dive in. Do you have pain with the other one, this one?
No.
Okay. Let's arms up to the ceiling. Let's do a back bend as far as you can.
Oh, I don't know about that.
How's that feel?
Not great.
Where?
I mean, I just feel like I can't go any further than that.
Come
I
here.
just feel like a little tightness
Can
in
I
the
see it
lower
again
back.
slowly? Good. And see, like I also look at things here, like her arms, like her right arm's not going back as far. So
Yeah.
something could be stiff in her lap,
Mhm.
shoulder. Do you have any pain there?
No.
Come back. Arms at your side. Rotate your palms like that. You're gonna rotate to the right as far as you can go. Okay, let your hips go too.
Left my hips down.
Yeah, okay, good.
We'll leave my
Let's go
feet on the
left.
ground.
Leave them on the ground. Yeah, that's good. Let's go left. Any issues there?
No.
Okay, come back. Bring your feet shoulder width apart. And arms above your head. That's like a squat.
A squat?
Yeah.
Just like straight back?
You can regular squat, like an overhead squat. Okay, come back up. See it again, same thing. Good. What do you feel there? Anything?
Pain? No.
Just restrictions?
No.
So what I'm looking at here is like how much she can get her arms back. Try to keep them there. Now let's start
Oh,
squatting.
like straight overhead?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know about that.
So we're just, you do an assessment to look for restrictions.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we're doing, right? And like, shoulders look pretty good. They lean forward a little bit.
Yeah.
So we'll like look at your spine here, but overall not too bad. Come on. Does that bother you? Or is
No.
this awkward?
It's just awkward. Like I feel
How would
like
you normally squat?
like how would I squat?
Yeah,
I don't
you know.
I don't know. It's been a while.
That's not bad.
That's not that bad. Are my
You
knees
have-
coming
you
too
have
far
a-
forward?
you have
That's
a-
fine.
you have what?
Are my knees coming too far forward?
Oh, that's pretty good. Okay.
Actually, it comes
Yeah.
at some point.
Yeah. Do you feel like that's a restriction here or a restriction here?
I think it's a restriction here, and I don't ever know if it's like just lingering tightness or if it's like because I had surgery here like maybe 10 years ago.
Would you have labral? You have
Yeah.
labral repair.
Mm-hmm.
Did they like fuse the capsule too?
They did not. Maybe they did. I got some little plastic plugs that are reattaching my biceps tendon
Okay.
to the labrum.
That's the labrum. That's the anchors. Maybe-
Yeah.
So that's good.
And I don't know if
Interesting
they
little
did.
history.
Yeah.
So let's bring up as high as you can. So I'm just gonna test your strength. Don't let me push down.
Don't let you push down.
Good. Not bad.
Okay.
Any pain?
A little bit.
Same spot up here.
Yeah. Actually, like right here.
So
and
I
also
can
here.
here.
Yeah.
Same thing here. Don't let me push. How's that?
That hurts as well.
Same spot.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, man, don't let me push forward. That's pretty strong. No pain.
No.
Oh, here, don't let me push.
That's not as good.
It's like a weak position.
Yeah.
You pull down. Okay, relax. Same thing. Same here. Relax. See this one. A lot stronger.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, so it's like that specific, yeah, because
Yeah.
like I would say
So
like the
much
part of
flexibility.
the top of my shoulder where I feel the most pain is like right here.
In the front.
Yeah.
And a lot of times that will come
Top.
from the back too.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a common trigger point here. Once I start digging, then you might feel shooting in the front.
Okay.
Just hold it again. See that? See how that just collapses
Yeah.
compared to the left?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's normal, like a rotator cuffs, if they're not trained directly, they're not going to get strong. Do you guys do like upper body stuff too?
We do upper body stuff. I haven't had a chance to like really dig into that as much.
You are, like, you live in Dobbs Ferry, so
Yeah.
nice Dobbs Ferry resident. And then business in Dobbs Ferry.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Just roll out of bed, downhill towards the business.
But now you'll see like all your clients there.
Yeah,
It's like a catch-22.
that's true.
How's that?
That feels fine.
No issues.
That hurts.
Where?
Just on the top of my shoulder and like just at the end.
Okay, so we'll try that again. So tell me when it starts.
There.
Okay, so we're looking at external rotation. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll stabilize and then try it.
Yeah, that's fine.
Better that way?
Yeah.
Because it gets a little further.
Mm-hmm.
So that usually means that the joint itself is kind of a little loose. The muscles in there aren't firing correctly.
Mm-hmm.
So, what inspired you to open up bar 3?
I was an athlete in college. I was a rower, and then when I messed up my shoulder like this, I became a coxswain. And a coxswain, if you don't know, is the person who sits in the front of a boat
Okay.
and directs. They steer the boat, and they also play, at least in my college, an important role in sort of guiding. That hurts. That hurts.
Where my thumb was, or
Yeah,
just
where your thumb was.
Okay.
What was I saying?
You're a coxswain?
Yeah, I was a coxswain. And at my college, the person, like a coxswain is also a leader of the team who leads not just the 8 people in a boat during practice, he leads race strategy, but also leads training for the 70 plus people who are on the team.
Okay.
And so from there, and I had been an athlete myself. Sometimes a coxswain is not like just a leader, but they're not an athlete as well.
Okay.
And so I wanted a way to stay active after college, and I really liked that team-based environment. And so I started going to like
What's your
boutique
type, you
classes. Yeah, that seems tight.
So, how'd you get this injury again?
So not sure if you can tell, but I'm not a very tall person, and I'm sure you can tell. And rowers are typically, like the typical frame for a rower is like, 6 foot tall, really long legs, like 160 plus pounds, and I meet none of those criteria. I'm actually like more like the size of a coxswain. And so I got into the sport basically after a different injury forced me out of soccer, and I was like, great, nobody will ever like have any expectations for me in rowing. And then I found I really loved it, and I wanted to compete more and more. When I was in high school, I rowed with the junior national team, and so then I wanted to row in college, but all of the college teammates that I had were like 6 feet tall, and when I was trying to keep up with them, mentioned that I have that like good sit and reach. You can reach really far out if your oar is in the water, and a lot of people don't realize that like rowing is primarily a leg strength driven sport.
Yeah.
But if you need to keep suspension in your upper body.
Yeah.
And basically, I can sit up and demonstrate what you do, but I like kept hyperextending both of my shoulders and then like dislocating them.
Wow. During your like.
Yeah, you can like look at photos of me
And your
in
shoulders popping out.
yeah, photos of me like rowing in high school, and in order to keep my stroke as long as possible, I needed my oar to get into the water, like really far in front of me. And I have a lot of like natural like joint looseness, but it was just like the load tore both of my rotator cuffs and then tore
Your bicep.
the cartilage
It's crazy.
in my right
I
shoulder.
mean, you can even see it too, like coming back to like the clinical side, like the shoulder moves so much better. There's
Yeah.
no pain there.
Yeah.
Like nice fluid, like external rotation.
And it's
here,
also
too.
like
It's
a
like nothing.
lot of joint looseness.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's, a stability thing. That's an interesting way to like tear it though.
Isn't it?
Yeah. How's it feel in here?
That feels fine.
No tenderness compared to that side?
No.
So like, what I'm looking for is how the joint moves, what goes on, how the tissue moves,
Yeah.
and kind of what is restricted. Here I could already see this one doesn't like to be centered. You got a lot more stiffness here.
Yeah.
Can you flip to your left side?
Yep. Just like onto my left side?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right here.
What should I do with my arm?
Just hanging out there.
It's a Ron Burgundy moment. Is this tender in here?
Yeah. Like that, it actually like feels fine for you to do that, but like I can feel it and I don't feel it on the other
Does
side.
it shoot like here? No.
No.
You would know. You would know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like a hot, very like trigger point. I press there, it shoots right there.
Yeah.
What are you touching?
So I'm on her infraspinatus, her back rotator cuff. A lot of times people with shoulder injuries, this muscle is overworked. It gets spasmodic, and sometimes it can cause a referral pain to the front, where she's complaining of pain. How's that?
I can only feel that on the back.
Gotcha. That's actually pretty good. It's a good sign. What's your goal as far as like, do you want to open other ones?
Oh, yeah, I would love to. Mostly there are no, so in this area there are, there's one Bar 3 studio in the West Village that is incredibly successful. That
City's crazy though. Right?
Yeah, it
There's
is,
so
and it's
many
actually,
freaking people.
that's like corporately owned. I would love, eventually, I picked the River Towns to open a first studio because I live here and I think that there is a specific gap in terms of places to work out around here. At least in terms of like where you can feel that community energy. There are other parts of Westchester County that seem to have more boutique fitness studios. In the long run, I would love to open one or two more.
That'd be sick.
Maybe central in the county, and then more on the sound side.
Sound
And St.
side, what's
Rita.
that?
I don't know,
Rye.
like Rye or like Larchmont,
Gotcha.
a place like that.
So Joe, what are you doing?
So right now I'm just working on a bicep tendon, kind of use some I-stim, instrument assisted soft tissue to get some blood flowing. I'm gonna mobilize the shoulder a little bit, and then we're gonna treat the back of the shoulder and top of the shoulder, and then kind of get some stability working, and then call it a day.
Cool.
All right, Becca. So, what'd you go to school for?
I went to school for, I was going to say like for rowing, but not really. I went to a small liberal arts college where I majored into very liberal artsy things. I majored in political science, like in international relations. Thought I was going to work at the UN. And I also had a second major in Spanish.
Just make sure you sit up.
People who are part of the International Olympic Committee are like actually mostly appointed. It's not like they have a lot of employees, or like they do, but basically spending more time looking into those types of organizations made me think that I could probably do something closer to home that would be as impactful. And the Spanish thing, took a lot of literature classes my freshman year. I speak French as well, actually.
Trilingual.
Yeah. And that was helpful because in Geneva, that's the spoken language. But the reason that I ended up with a Spanish major is because I started taking Spanish literature classes my freshman year.
That's cool.
And I ended up with enough
That's
classes
a
for
good
it.
thing to know too, though, like
Yeah.
Spanish. We'll draw like that.
So, instead of doing anything related to political science or Spanish, I did what a lot of liberal arts kids do, and I worked at a consulting firm after I graduated. You might as well, I don't know. Okay.
Shoulder blade stays back. Grab the whole weight, grab. And then all you're gonna do is down and then up.
Just like a couple inches.
So, but the whole, most important part is to stay stable. Scapula stays back, a little higher than that. There. And then this has to almost stay pinned here. Yeah, like pin your little knot down.
My knees are
You good?
both hands.
Like, cut your hands in there.
Okay.
There. Keeping pressure. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So consistent pressure now with the left. And so like, don't let the left move. And you're gonna raise the right up a little bit. Right to there and back down. Not even that, like not that high. Good. So try those. And try to get it from here. So you have to like almost get your scapula back. Keep your head. Good. Let's try that out.
Feels easier. Am I still doing work?
Yeah, you're doing right.
Okay.
And like here, the right muscles are firing, so the back of the scapular muscle should be hitting. We're getting stabilization with this arm straight. This is like a good one to keep doing.
So I thought that I would work in consulting for a couple of years and I would figure out what industry I wanted to work in or what I wanted to do long term. And really loved consulting actually. So I traveled for like almost all of my 20s and I started managing other team members. And then one day I just looked around and I was like, now what? And there was nobody senior to me whose job I wanted.
Right.
I took my first class. I was like, oh, it feels like crew practice. It feels like a supportive group of people who are working out together, but people are just kind of doing their own thing. And I really liked that. And so I knew that I wanted to get back to doing barre more regularly. And I also had this idea that maybe 5 to 10 years from now, that was the thing I wanted to do professionally. And that combination of like being here, seeing a need in the community, not being in the right place professionally for me at the time, and also the great feedback and support that I got from Bar 3, basically from the day I said that I wanted to open a studio, led me to make it more like my 1-year plan rather than my 5 to 10 year plan.
Yeah.
And so that's how I went from being a consultant
to
a fitness studio owner. Doesn't matter what you major in college, you too can open a fitness studio.
Hey, that's very true.
Check out Bar 3.
Yeah, check out Bar 3 Rivertowns. We'll be around.
We'll be connected
Right
for sure.
across from the cookery.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll eat cookery and then head over there.
Yeah.
Or like you could do the opposite.
Pig dinner.
Yeah.
Work out and then
Work out, big dinner. Yeah.
True.
7 classes, 7 days a week, and we'll be there early mornings, mid mornings, and the evenings as well.
Sweet.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
And then down your back. You just take a couple deep breaths. Usually we'll take 3 deep breaths to start. And then from here, step your feet out a little bit wider than your shoulders. And then switch sides. Press